Millie! Hey! Thanks for the other day. I really appreciate you coming to the wedding. Why are you laughing as you say that? Because I couldn't stop laughing at how socially awkward you still are. I made a conscious effort to be respectful, both in how I dressed and how I carried myself. After all, I am the bride's sister. Sure, I'll give you that. You did your best to blend into the shadows like usual. I mean, it's not like you could draw attention if you tried. You've always been invisible. So I guess you were just being your usual awkward self. Was there an actual reason you contacted me? Storm, I think you're forgetting something. We're practically estranged, you know. I only went to the ceremony out of obligation, for Dad's sake. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather you not contact me at all. Oh, really? You sure you want to say that? What now? I overheard Mom and Dad talking at the reception, you know. You're living in some bottom-of-the-barrel poverty situation, right? They said you're making, $10,000 a year? That's like $800 a month. How are you even surviving on that living alone? You must be in some real dump of an apartment. Wait, $10,000 a year? Where did that number even come from? Like I said, I overheard them talking. I seriously don't recall them saying that. $10,000 a year is practically NEET level, sis. Meanwhile, look at me. I've married a rich guy who works at a major company, and I'm living the dream as a full-time housewife. I don't have to work and still get to enjoy the luxurious life. Actually, you know what? Want me to give you some money? What? My husband's loaded. Covering the cost of a few basics so you can live like a human being isn't going to break our bank. I don't want your money. Don't be so proud. You can't possibly live on $800 a month. You're probably up to your eyeballs in debt just to keep the lights on. Sad little debt-ridden pauper. I'm giving you a lifeline here. Take it. No thanks. Doing anything you say is guaranteed to make my life worse. Oh, that's how you want to play it? Also, for your information, I'm not in debt, so you can relax. Are you sure about that? Think what you like. We're not in touch anyway, so I honestly don't care what you assume. You've always been so stubborn and hard to like. Then it's good I'm not trying to be likable. But deep down? What now? Be honest. About what? You want the money, right? I already said no. Well then, to my difficult little sister who can't admit when she's in need, I have a fantastic proposal for you. I don't need any proposals. Introduce me to a guy. What? Are you serious? Storm, you just got married. I know you've always had a thing for fooling around, but that's over now. You're married. Yeah, but my husband's such a boring, straight-laced guy, and he's so bland in bed. I'm bored to death. No excitement. I'm dying here. Didn't you get married knowing full well what kind of person he is? I was fooled by the looks and the paycheck, okay? So come on, hook me up with someone. Even if I wanted to, Just one guy, that's all I'm asking. You're being absolutely ridiculous. Come on, and make sure he's hot. I'm not doing this. Why not? Because I'm not about to help you cheat on your husband. It's just for fun. It's not my fault he can't satisfy me. He's the problem. Listen, that kind of stuff might sound casual to you, but the consequences, they're not. Whether you're single or married makes a huge difference when it comes to affairs. Get your act together. You sound so self-righteous. Living on your own for 10 years turned you into some arrogant little know-it-all, huh? You were always a brat, but now it's worse. Say whatever you want. This conversation is over. Millie! Come on, answer me already. Millie, you there? Hello? What? I'm at work now, you know. You're calling that work? Girl, please. You're barely scraping together $800 a month, and you've got the nerve to sound all busy and important. There's no such thing as a bottom-tier job. Work is work. And coming from you, the woman who spent every waking moment chasing guys until she finally landed a husband, you've got zero room to talk. Also, just FYI, I'm earning more than $800 now. Oh, really? So what, did my jab about you being poor sting enough to make you hustle for once? What now? You made $900 this month instead? Wow, how impressive. You're rolling in it, huh? You're seriously just sitting around talking to yourself, huh? Making jokes, laughing at them, then replying like anyone's entertained? You must be so bored. Anyway, I'm done with this. Okay, fine. But what if I said, I took your man. What are you talking about? My man? Yeah. Some guy walked out of that shabby little apartment building you live in, and I just knew he had to be yours. So I went and got a little friendly with him. I hope you don't mind. I'm sorry, what? First of all, my apartment isn't nearly as terrible as you make it sound. And second, it's got pretty tight security. Are you sure you're not confusing me with someone else? Tisk tisk, no need to pretend, sis. He told me himself you two were involved, and I gotta say, he was pretty great. Good-looking, fun, knew how to handle things in bed. Exactly the kind of thrill I've been craving. Way more exciting than my straight-laced husband, that's for sure. Wait, are you telling me you actually slept with someone you think I'm dating? Relax, what's the big deal? You're my sister. So we shared a guy for a bit. No harm done, right? That is completely insane. I have no idea what guy you're even talking about. Oh, come on, don't play dumb. He said you were struggling financially too, so I figured why not help out? I handed him $30,000. You what? Mm-hmm. And since you were kind enough to introduce me to such a lovely guy, I figured I'd return the favor. Check your mailbox. There's $20,000 in there just for you, my way of saying thanks for the referral. You've got to be kidding me. You put $20,000 in my mailbox? Yep, so generous, right? Anyway, just wanted to let you know I'll be keeping your man now. He and I really hit it off. You are unbelievable. Oh, and just so we're clear, if you go crying to my husband about any of this, I will be asking for that money back. So think carefully before you do anything stupid. Bye! Millie, what the hell do you think you're doing? Answer your damn phone. What? What? That's all you have to say? Don't give me that tone. I gave you the money, didn't I? The damn thank you money? Why the hell would you go rat me out to my husband? Oh, so he found out about your little affair, huh? No crap he did, and now I want my $20,000 back. You told him, Millie, that was the deal. No snitching. Yeah, but see, I didn't tell him anything. What the hell are you talking about? He came to me and asked for advice, that's it. Wait, he came to you? My husband went to you? Yeah, he said he wanted to talk about your cheating. What the actual hell? Why would he confide in you? You're just some broken bottom-of-the-barrel wannabe. Right, except I'm a licensed attorney with an annual income of $100,000. I'm sorry, what? You heard me. You're a lawyer? Mm-hmm, and your husband knows that, which is probably why he felt safe confiding in me. He told me he wants to move forward with a divorce. No, this can't be real. I didn't take his case, obviously, conflict of interest, but I did refer him to someone more suitable. Looks like everything's finally in motion. Hold on! What the hell were Mom and Dad talking about when they said you were only making $10,000 a year? I asked them about that too. They think they must have misheard me when I said my husband's monthly income was $10,000. They probably assume I meant yearly. Wait, so your husband makes $10,000 a month? Yeah, so his annual salary is about $120,000. He owns his own business. He what? Your husband? My husband, yes. Are you telling me you're married? Have been for 3 years now. We met through a colleague of mine. He's the legal advisor for my husband's company. We got married not long after. We even have a kid. 3 years? Yeah. I just never told you because, well, dealing with your jealousy and drama isn't exactly how I'd like to spend my time. Wait. So that guy, the one I saw leaving the apartment, that wasn't your man? Storm, how exactly did you get that apartment address again? You sent us a New Year's card once. It had your address on it. That's how I found the place. And then I saw some guy walk out of there and I thought, oh, I see. That was probably the address from before we got married. My husband and I used to live there before we moved into our house. I must have sent that card during our engagement, right before we relocated. Hold up, are you telling me that guy, the one I slept with, he wasn't even your man? He was probably the new tenant, the one who moved in after we left. No, wait a second. So then the $20,000 I stuffed into the mailbox? No idea who got that money. Wasn't me. You're lying. You had to have taken it. I was planning to use it as leverage to cover my damages if I ended up divorced. Right. Well, according to your husband, that was his money to begin with. So even if you had gotten it back, it wouldn't count toward any damages. It'd just be returning what you stole. Oh, God, no. No. What do I do? $50,000 is gone. I don't have that kind of money. And that's not even the worst of it. What now? The $50,000 is just what you have to repay. It's not counting the compensation your husband could be suing for. That's additional. You're saying $50,000 isn't even enough? Exactly. He could demand more, depending on the emotional distress, the damage to his reputation, breach of trust, all that. I'm screwed. Also, just so you know, Mom and Dad aren't going to help you. What? They told me flat out. They're not lifting a finger for you. They said if you blew through $50,000 and wrecked your own marriage, then you can dig yourself out on your own. No, this can't be happening. Millie, please help me. Be my lawyer, I'm begging you. What? You're a lawyer, right? Just work my case for free, okay? If you can just get the refund dismissed or have the damages reduced, I'll owe you forever. No. What do you mean, no? You're my sister. You can't just abandon me like this. Being your sister doesn't mean I'm obligated to clean up your messes. And besides, what you're asking is impossible. Even lawyers have limits. We can't magically erase wrongdoing just because you regret it now. You are heartless. No, I'm just done letting you drag me into your schemes. I told you, don't involve me. You didn't listen. Millie, please just wait. Don't leave me. Wait, please, don't leave me like this. First, about the $20,000 that I had tossed into the apartment mailbox, it ended up in the hands of my sister's affair partner, the very person who had been living in that apartment. He found the money and, of course, squandered it. I couldn't believe it when I heard. It was as if the money had vanished into thin air, only to be wasted on things that were irrelevant. This affair partner of hers that had been told by my sister that she was a wealthy, single woman, it's hard to even imagine the level of deception involved in that. The lie she had been living was so far removed from the truth that it was almost comical, except for the fact that it was rooted in a situation so destructive. What made this whole mess even more complicated was that this man had no real interest in my sister's character or her feelings. He was only interested in what he thought was a golden opportunity. He had been misled, and now he was involved in the chaos she had created. After everything that happened, he came forward and apologized, though it didn't change anything in the end. I suppose in a way it was too little too late. Still, after some back and forth, they reached an agreement on the standard amount for the alimony, just enough to cover the situation, with no grand gestures or any attempt to make things right beyond what was expected. Meanwhile, my sister was left to face the consequences of her actions, something she was ill-prepared for. The reality of it all hit her much harder than I think she had anticipated. It wasn't just about the $20,000, but the entire mess that surrounded her. As if that wasn't enough, it turned out that there had been another affair during her engagement. I couldn't believe it. She was engaged to someone else while all of this was going on. How was that even possible? Apparently, the affair partner during her engagement was a separate issue, something that had somehow remained hidden until now. And so, in addition to the situation she had already created, my sister was now being asked to pay alimony for that as well. It seemed as though her life was nothing but a series of missteps, each one compounding the last, creating an overwhelming mess that she had no idea how to untangle. It wasn't just the affairs, though. That part, while shocking, was almost expected. The way my sister had been living, the way she thought she could get away with anything, her life had been one big string of mistakes, and I couldn't help but think that some part of her believed she could avoid any real consequences. She had a way of interpreting everything around her in the most convenient way possible. It was almost as if she believed that if she twisted things enough, the truth would bend to her will. But that kind of thinking doesn't work forever. Sooner or later, the truth catches up with you, and that's exactly what happened here. The carefree attitude she had carried through life, always choosing what was easiest rather than what was right, had led her down a path she couldn't undo. I had always been frustrated by my sister's behavior. She had such a reckless personality, one that never considered the long-term consequences. There were so many things I wanted to say, so many things I wanted to point out to her, but I knew better than to waste my breath. She wasn't the type to listen. She had a way of brushing off anything that didn't align with her view of the world, interpreting everything in a way that made it all seem like someone else's fault. And now she was finally paying for that mentality. in ways that would haunt her for a long time. The idea that she could just ignore the damage she caused and carry on as if nothing had happened had been her biggest mistake. It had always seemed so easy for her to get away with things, to assume that everything would just work out, but she was wrong. Life doesn't just forgive you for being reckless. You can't keep running away from the consequences no matter how hard you try. Now, my sister was in a far more difficult place than I ever expected. She was working tirelessly at some seedy bar in a run-down part of town, spending her days and nights trying to pay off the debts she had accumulated. She had no time for herself, no space to think, no ability to see any way out. Her life had become a constant grind, a daily struggle to stay afloat in a sea of mistakes she couldn't undo. And I wondered, as I thought about it, if she even realized how far she had fallen. Did she understand what it meant to lose everything? To be left with nothing but the consequences of her own actions? It seemed like she had become numb to it, as though she had already accepted that this was her new life, that she had no way of turning things around. It was painful to think about, and yet I couldn't help but feel a certain level of frustration. Part of me wanted to sympathize with her, to feel sorry for her as she worked herself to exhaustion, day after day, trying to repay the debts she had made. But another part of me couldn't find it in me to offer any sympathy. How could I? How could I feel sorry for someone who had always taken the easy way out, who had always been so careless with her life, only to now face the reality of it all? I understood the difficulty of her situation. No one wanted to be stuck in a place like that. But she had done this to herself. She had made these choices, and now she was paying for them. I didn't want to see my sister suffer, but there was no other way to look at it. Her choices had led her here, and there was no quick fix for the mess she had created. It was hard not to feel angry at her, angry for the way she had handled everything, for the way she had ignored all the signs along the way. It wasn't just the affairs or the lies, it was the way she had treated the people around her, the way she had treated the consequences of her actions as if they didn't matter. But they did. They mattered more than anything, and now she was the one left picking up the pieces. What was even more difficult was that I couldn't offer any real advice to her. She had burned so many bridges, alienated so many people, and now she was living in a world where she had no one left to turn to. The money she had spent, the lies she had told, the people she had hurt, it had all built up to this moment. And there she was, working in a dirty bar, hoping that somehow, through sheer effort, she could pay off everything and get her life back on track. But I didn't see how she could. Life doesn't hand out second chances just because you're sorry. You can't undo what's been done. You can only try to do better moving forward. And that, it seemed, was the hardest lesson of all for my sister to learn. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Derek, wait, is it true you're getting married? Are you really going to be getting married this soon?
Oh, Billy? Wow, it's been a while.
Come on, don't dodge it. Is it seriously true that you're getting married?
Yeah, it's true. Wait, did you hear it from my mom or something?
Totally, I heard it from your mom. She told me that you came by to introduce your fiancé the day I was out of town. I was on a trip.
Ah, that explains it. I did think it was weird not seeing you around that day.
And she said you're starting to plan the wedding soon, too. Is that also right?
Yeah, kind of. We haven't nailed down the details yet, but we're hoping to do it before the end of the year. Still a lot of planning that needs to go into it on our end and the family's end.
Wow, okay then. Well, in that case, you have to spend at least $100,000 on the wedding, okay?
Wait, what?
$100,000 minimum. Come on, custom-made wedding dress, non-negotiable. At least 5 outfit changes throughout the day. The food, you have to go with the highest tier menu the venue offers. As for the entertainment, make it unforgettable. Hire a professional comedian, or better yet, bring in a full-on performance troupe. And don't even think about skimping on the wedding favors. Oh, and of course you're inviting at least 300 guests.
Whoa, what are you even talking about? You're acting like you're the one I'm marrying. How about you settle down a little bit?
I know that, but this is just the bare minimum of what any woman dreams of, Derek.
Seriously?
Of course, it's common sense. I mean, sure, if the guy's not financially stable, maybe expectations have to be adjusted. But you're working at a major company pulling in a great salary. You've got no excuse not to go all out. You should be reading between the lines and making her dreams come true without her even asking. That's what a good groom does, right?
I don't know. I mean, I thought we had a pretty honest relationship, you know? She tells me what she wants, and I do the same, and she's never mentioned wanting a wedding that extravagant.
Then she's probably just holding back. She's being polite. You know how girls are. We sometimes say what we think is reasonable, even if it's not what we really want.
Is that so?
Definitely. There are some feelings only another woman can understand. So you, as the thoughtful fiancé, should go back and ask her again. Ask her honestly, what kind of wedding does she truly want?
Huh. You might be right. We're planning to talk more about everything soon anyway. I guess I can bring it up and double check.
Yes, you should. Don't waste this top-tier advice from your childhood best friend.
All right, I'll ask. Just don't say I didn't warn you if she tells me she's actually fine with a small ceremony.
If she does, it's still your job to give her the wedding she didn't even know she wanted.
Okay, Billy, I've got to head out. Got something lined up after this.
All right, then. Let's catch up again soon.
Yeah, see you around.
Allie. Hey. Hello? Don't ignore me. I don't care how long it's been. Slow replies are not acceptable. Allie! Oh, hey, Billy. Sorry, I didn't see your message right away. Ugh, you're so slow. Seriously. I had my phone buried in the bottom of my bag. I don't need excuses. Just answer me. Is it true? You're getting married? What? Don't give me that what. I already know, so don't play dumb. Just tell me the truth. Yes or no? Yeah, I am. We're planning to get married by the end of the year. Great. Then you need to tell your fiancé this. The wedding needs to cost at least $100,000. Got it? Wait, what? Why? Don't question me. Just do it because I said so. You're a boring, plain little introvert, so don't you dare go against the queen of introverts, me. That's not fair. And honestly, what does my wedding have to do with you? Excuse me? You're seriously telling me you're not inviting me to the ceremony? I never said that. But we're planning a small wedding, just close family and a few good friends. Unacceptable. Unacceptable? Yeah, that's right. So here's what you're going to do. The wedding dress has to be custom made. You need a minimum of 5 outfit changes. Go with the highest tier catering available at the venue. The production and decoration need to be absolutely over the top. Hire a celebrity for the entertainment. No cheap favors. Guests should feel like royalty. Invite at least 300 people. And finally, the whole thing needs to cost at least $100,000. Are you even listening to yourself? This is what you should say if your fiancé asks what kind of wedding you want. Just memorize it. I'm sorry, Billy, but that's not happening. We've talked about it. Spending that kind of money on a single day just isn't realistic for us. Wow, so you're openly defying me now. You've got some nerve. You still haven't changed, still bossing people around like we're all characters in your little drama. What did you just say? I said, I feel sorry for you. Excuse me? You feel sorry for me? Yeah. You act like you're above everyone, like people should jump at your every demand. I know I'm not flashy. I know I come from a modest background. But even someone like me found someone who loves me for who I am. He wants to build a life with me, just the two of us, not for show. So please, don't interfere. Blah, blah, blah. Spare me the fairy tale nonsense. Here's the deal. Either you have the wedding I say you should, or I'll remind you what it was like back then. I'll play with you again, just like the old days. Stop it. Then do exactly what I said. Go tell your fiancé you insist on the kind of wedding I described. And if you even think about going against me, you know what happens next. Derek, this is bad. Your bride has canceled the wedding.
Huh?
I was so excited about the wedding I couldn't sleep and arrived at the venue early, but there's a huge commotion because the bride hasn't shown up. I've been trying to call her, but she won't pick up.
I see.
So I went to her apartment to check, and the neighbors said they saw her get into a car with some guy. Apparently it was either her ex-boyfriend or some guy she's been cheating with. It seems like she ran off with him. It's a total mess here. Haven't you heard from the venue yet?
No.
Seriously, you should just dump that cheating woman. Anyway, Derek, I have to tell you something. I have actually had feelings for you this whole time.
What?
I know it's not the right timing to confess like this. It's kind of underhanded, but I can't just leave you like this, all hurt and abandoned, so let me be your bride instead.
Huh?
Let's go ahead and continue with the wedding. I'll take her place as the bride today. Now, since it's settled, let's get things ready. I know the wedding dress is custom made, right? Oh, I can't believe it, but even if it's under these circumstances, I'm marrying the man I have always loved.
Wait a minute.
What?
What are you talking about? The bride canceled and now you're saying you're taking her place. If this is some kind of prank, you should have thought about the timing.
No, it's not a prank.
The bride is here with me and we're already having the ceremony in Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yes, Hawaii.
It's not the venue at the YouTube Hotel in St. Louis?
No, we decided on a private ceremony with just close family in Hawaii.
Huh?
We're planning to hold a reception back home in a restaurant once we return.
Wait, hold on a second. What about the $100,000 wedding? What happened to the 300 guests you promised?
Oh, you mean that? After talking with my fiancée, we decided a Hawaii wedding was what she wanted. We found a wedding package that fit within our budget. So here we are now in Hawaii.
No way. Stop with these ridiculous pranks already.
Why?
Because right now I am in a state of shock here because you're okay with still marrying Allie.
What? Allie?
There's no way a wedding could happen like this.
My wedding partner isn't Allie, though.
Huh?
Look, this is the picture of me and my fiancé at the wedding. It's a photo the photographer just took of us.
This person, April?
Yeah, she was our senior back in school, the student council president. We reconnected when we started working at the same place, and that's when we began dating. So, yes, she's my bride.
What, Allie isn't your bride?
Nope.
What?
And wait, why is Allie even mentioned here?
Because, Derek, you were always with Allie back in high school.
What?
I've been waiting for the day you and Allie would break up, and then you go and say you're getting married? I was so upset.
No, Allie and I were just in the same club. I was the president and she was the vice president. We spent a lot of time together because of that. Besides, didn't Allie have a boyfriend in college at that time?
What?
Hold on a second. Now that I think about it, I remember someone mentioning that Allie was planning to get married around the same time as me. No way! Did you do something to Allie?
What? No!
You did something, didn't you?
I'm
going to contact everyone I can think of about this now. If you have any guilt over what you did, you'd better go tell Allie's family the truth right away.
Derek, please help me.
What is it?
I don't know what to do. I just got served. They're making me pay damages, and I have to cover the cancellation fees for the wedding, too. They're saying I owe $40,000. I can't pay that, Derek. I really can't. What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to pay it.
What?
You brought this on yourself. You charged ahead without checking anything, let your assumptions drive your actions, and look what happened. You thought you knew everything. You didn't even stop to ask anyone. And on top of that, you were planning to hijack the whole wedding from the start, weren't you? You tried to force your fantasy on me and Allie, talking about some $200,000 wedding with 300 guests, pushing your dream onto our lives? Come on, you were never a victim. You're the villain in this whole thing.
But I didn't mean...
Don't give me that. I was in Hawaii, remember? I couldn't be there. I couldn't stop you directly. All I could do was reach out to people once I realized something was off. And you know what I found out? Allie was dragged out of her home early that morning. No one else was home. Everyone had gone out. She was locked in a storage shed until almost noon. She couldn't even scream for help. And you, instead of taking any responsibility, instead of apologizing, you ran. You vanished from the venue like a coward. Allie's wedding day was ruined, she was humiliated, traumatized, treated like garbage, and you were the one who did that to her. So if all you have to do now is pay $40,000, honestly, you're getting off easy.
But I don't have that kind of money. That's an insane amount.
Then I guess you'd better start preparing for the police to get involved.
The police?
Yeah, what you did to Allie, it's not some little mishap. It's serious. You detained her, you physically removed her from her home and locked her up. That's criminal no matter how you want to frame it.
You're blowing this way out of proportion. She's fine now, right? I heard you're planning a second ceremony later, so it's all okay in the end, isn't it?
You seriously don't get it, do you? The fact that you're still using words like blowing it out of proportion tells me everything I need to know.
Derek, please, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just wanted to marry you, that's all.
If that's what you wanted, then you could have just told me, honestly, like a normal person, not this. Not drugging up some fantasy, not sabotaging someone else's wedding to slot yourself in as the bride. And let me make one thing very clear. Even if you'd confessed in some sweet, normal way, there's no universe, not even a twisted, alternate one, where I'd want to be with someone like you.
Derek, please.
No, we're done. I'm cutting you out of my life for good.
What? You can't mean that.
I do mean it, and frankly, after everything that's happened, I have no idea what you might try next. I'm not about to take chances with my wife's safety.
No, wait, please don't do this. Don't shut me out like this.
Don't ever come near me again. Don't call, don't message, don't show up. You're out of my life, permanently.
Derek, please, just talk to me, please.
I didn't hear the full details at first, and when I finally did, it came through the usual channels. My mother. She had a way of knowing everything, somehow connecting the dots even when the story seemed fragmented. But hearing it from her didn't make it any easier to process. In fact, it only made the reality of what had happened more jarring. It was as if the story kept unraveling layer by layer, and with each new piece of information, the picture became darker, more complicated. Billy, as my mother explained, had fought fiercely against paying the $40,000. But it wasn't just a simple refusal. It was a drawn-out battle of resistance, of digging her heels in, trying to avoid what was inevitable. She was trying to evade responsibility at every turn, hoping that if she ignored the problem long enough, it would disappear. She locked herself in her room, withdrew from any meaningful conversation, and just hoped that everything would somehow resolve itself without her having to lift a finger. But things don't work like that. The world doesn't bend to our will, no matter how hard we try to avoid it. And in the end, the reality that Billy had been so desperate to avoid was going to catch up with her, no matter what. It was Billy's parents who finally stepped in. My mother said that they hadn't wanted to. They didn't have the money, and certainly they didn't have the emotional energy to bail their daughter out of yet another mess. But in the end, they couldn't stand by and watch her drown, so they paid the $40,000, every cent of it, so that Billy wouldn't have to face the full extent of her actions. They did it because they were parents, and despite everything that had happened, they loved her. But what did that really mean? Was that love an act of kindness, or a failure to set the hard boundaries Billy needed? In some ways, it felt like enabling. It wasn't just the financial burden, it was the emotional toll of constantly coming to Billy's rescue when she couldn't, or wouldn't, take responsibility for herself. Of course, the payment didn't mark the end of the story, not by a long shot. As my mother explained, Billy couldn't bear the way the neighbors looked at her after that. There were whispers, of course, there always are. People knew that her parents had covered the debt, and Billy couldn't stand the thought of being viewed as someone who couldn't handle her own problems. Her pride couldn't take it. So without a word, Billy packed her things and left, disappearing from our lives once again. It wasn't surprising. Billy had always been someone who would rather run than face the consequences of her actions, no matter how much damage it caused. But it still felt like a betrayal. She had caused so much chaos, so much pain, and then she just vanished as though nothing had ever happened. I guess I should have expected that, but I didn't. I didn't expect her to leave so abruptly, to vanish without a trace. And when she did, I had no idea where she was going or what she was going to do. I could only wonder what kind of life she was hoping to build, or if she was just running from her problems. The truth was, Billy's actions had always been motivated by a desire to escape, to avoid facing things head on. It was the easy way out, the coward's way, and that's what she kept choosing. But what happened next was something I couldn't have predicted. Billy didn't just vanish into some random part of the city. No, she took herself to a place even further removed from everything familiar, an industrial area far away from where she had once lived. Billy had gone to work in a factory. Not just any factory, but a place with a reputation. It was a factory that had long struggled with staffing issues, a place where the working conditions were borderline abusive, the kind of place people went to when they were desperate, when they had no other options left. And Billy, it seemed, was desperate. The factory she found herself in wasn't just any run-of-the-mill workplace. It was one of those blacklist factories, the kind that seemed to attract people in dire situations, those who had nowhere else to turn. The working conditions were dreadful, the hours were long, the pay was pitiful, and the environment was grueling. But that wasn't even the worst part. No, the worst part was the fact that Billy had been hired as a live-in worker. A live-in worker wasn't someone who just worked long shifts and then went home at the end of the day. No, Billy was expected to live in the factory, to be on call at all times. It was a dehumanizing situation. She was effectively a slave to the place, living and breathing the factory's demands day and night. The whole thing felt like a trap, a cycle that would never end. There was no freedom, no space for her to just be a person again. She wasn't allowed any of the basic human dignity that should come with a job. Her entire existence had been reduced to this monotonous, exhausting routine. She worked, she slept, and she woke up to work again. That was her life now. As my mother told me the details, it was hard not to feel a sense of disbelief. Billy had always been someone who took things for granted, someone who never had to truly struggle. She had the luxury of comfort, of choices, and yet she had thrown it all away. Now she was living in a nightmare of her own making, stuck in a system that showed no mercy. She was paying off the debt her parents had covered for her, but it wasn't just the money that she was paying for. It was her own soul in some way. The person she had been, the person she could have been, seemed to have disappeared with each passing day in that factory. My mother told me that Billy was working tirelessly day after day as if her very survival depended on it. And in a way it did. Every penny she earned went toward repaying her parents, trying to make good on the $40,000 that she had been too stubborn to pay on her own. But no matter how hard she worked, it was never going to be enough. The factory wasn't going to offer her a way out. It wasn't going to provide the kind of redemption she seemed to think it would. The more she worked, the further she sank into the quicksand of her own choices. I couldn't help but feel a strange mixture of pity and anger. Pity because Billy had clearly made a huge mistake, and now she was paying the price in the hardest way imaginable. But anger, too, because she had run away from the consequences for so long. She had avoided responsibility at every turn, and now she was living in a nightmare because of it. I wished, part of me desperately wished, that she could wake up and see the bigger picture. That she could realize that this wasn't the way to fix things, that working herself to the bone in some grim factory wasn't going to restore her sense of dignity. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to pay back the money or even the emotional cost of her actions. There was something deeper she needed to confront, something that couldn't be solved by simply throwing herself into work. But at the same time, I wondered if Billy was even capable of seeing that. Was she self-aware enough to recognize the cost of her actions, or was she too far gone, too caught in the web she had spun? I didn't know. I didn't know her anymore, and that's what hurt the most. The Billy I once knew, the one who had been so full of promise, the one who had made decisions without thinking of the consequences, had disappeared long ago. In her place was someone I didn't recognize, someone trapped in her own decisions. I could only hope that eventually Billy would understand. I hoped that she would come to realize that true redemption didn't come from running away or working endlessly to pay off a debt. It came from confronting the truth of what you had done, owning up to it, and making the conscious decision to change. But that wasn't something I could give her. That was something she had to choose for herself. And until that day came, if it ever did, there was nothing I could do but wait. Wait and wonder if Billy would ever find her way out of the mess she had made. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Hello, Raven. This is the first time we've spoken on the phone, isn't it? Well then, let's not waste time. I'll get straight to the point. Why haven't you gotten pregnant yet? It's been 2.5 years since you married Cam, hasn't it? You know, there's an old saying, if the wife bears no children after 3 years, she must be sent away. So listen carefully. If you don't conceive within the next 6 months, I'll have no choice but to insist on a divorce. Understood? Linda? Wow, it's been a while. Hello. Excuse me? Is that how you greet your husband's mother? Huh? You will address me properly as mother. Don't go thinking we're equals just because you managed to marry into the family. You can't even get pregnant, and yet you dare to speak to me so casually? How unbelievably arrogant. Sorry, I just thought, since you're technically no longer my mother-in-law, it might actually be disrespectful to call you that. So I thought I'd use your name instead. What? That is outrageous. How dare you? Not your mother-in-law. You think you can strip me of that title? So I'm not wrong, then? You insolent little... Look, I think you're confused. Cam and I are already divorced. It's been a while now, so you're not my mother anymore. What are you saying? Hasn't Cam told you anything? Oh, what nonsense are you speaking? That's not the kind of tasteless joke you should be making. It's not a joke. I'm being serious. Well, honestly, given how you failed to get pregnant all this time, it wouldn't surprise me if Cam was getting impatient. Still, you don't joke about things like that. Are you even listening to me? Anyway, here's the bottom line. 6 months. That's how long you have. If you're not pregnant by then, you will be divorced. I'll make sure of it. But again, I'm telling you, Cam and I have already divorced. Don't you dare make excuses, you good-for-nothing daughter-in-law. Let me say it one more time so it gets through that thick skull of yours. A wife who cannot bear a child after 3 years must be cast out. You have 6 months, no more. Do you understand me? I can't believe this. How many times do I have to say it? I am no longer your daughter-in-law. Cam and I are over, divorced, done. I just want to hold my grandchild already. Stop wasting time with these ridiculous stories and get pregnant. Would you please just listen to what I'm saying? Don't raise your voice at me. You are absolutely infuriating. Excuse me? Now listen carefully. You've got 6 months. Make the most of it. Do whatever it takes. Get serious about having that baby. Raven, it's been 3 months since our last conversation. Are you still not pregnant? Unbelievable. If I don't reach out, I never hear a word from you. What kind of behavior is that? It's been a while. I really have to ask, what exactly do you think you're doing? Excuse me? That's what I should be asking you. What happened to your promise? You said you'd stay in touch regularly if we agreed to dissolve the cohabitation, and now, radio silence? Wait, hold on a second. Dissolving the cohabitation? You mean when I moved out half a year into the marriage, after you made my life a living nightmare? Don't twist this around. No, let's get the facts straight. Cam and I are divorced, so obviously living together wasn't going to continue. And to be honest, staying in regular contact with the family of an ex-husband, that's not just awkward, it's completely irrational. Oh, you're still on about that. Still? I'm talking about reality. The fact that you keep pretending this marriage still exists is what's baffling. Cam and I are done, legally, emotionally, completely. So that's it? You're just going to throw away your obligations? What kind of woman breaks a promise to her mother-in-law and thinks that's okay? You were raised without a shred of honor, clearly. Again, for the 100th time, I am no longer your daughter-in-law. I don't owe you anything. I told you before I won't entertain that nonsense. I'm giving you a chance to avoid divorce, and yet you're just tossing it away with your selfish attitude. Enough. I have seriously had it. Do you even hear yourself? You'd better listen carefully, Raven. A wife who bears no child after 3 years must be sent away. That deadline is just 3 months away. If you want to stay married to Cam, you'd better get pregnant before then. Okay, you know what? I think I'm officially done being polite. What was that? How many times do I have to tell you? We're already divorced. We've both moved on. I'm not some reluctant bride waiting for your approval. I've started a new chapter in my life, and it doesn't involve any of you. If you're so desperate for a grandchild, maybe you should shove your precious brain-dead son into a new marriage and pray someone else will put up with this madness, because I sure as hell won't. What are you saying? Exactly what I mean. You're obsessed, delusional, and I am done indulging it. Goodbye. Raven, today marks exactly 3 years since you married into this family, and what do we have to show for it? You still haven't gotten pregnant, and after promising to stay in contact, 3 whole months of silence, not one message. Oh, great, it's you again. Still clinging to that title of mother-in-law, huh? You're really just a meddling old hag with a hearing problem and a superiority complex. How dare you speak to me that way? You are unbelievably rude. Frankly, you should consider it an act of charity that I'm even using polite words with you. Unbelievable. You are an absolute disgrace. A defective wife who couldn't even produce a grandchild. If you can't get pregnant, then divorce my son and be gone. Fine, I wasn't going to say anything, but here it is. I've been married for 2 years now to someone else, and we have a child together. What? You married? That's right, 2 years ago. And we have a baby, 6 months old now. A baby? What are you saying? You heard me. I have a 6-month-old daughter. Naturally, she is no relation to you. What is this nonsense? Cam never told me anything about a divorce, let alone this. I saw you at that family gathering 7 months ago. Did you now? You're aware I have a twin sister, right? Oh, yes, she was at the wedding, wasn't she? Right. Well, I moved away the same day the divorce was finalized. Haven't returned once since. So whatever Raven you met at that gathering wasn't me. Then who? It was my twin sister Amy. Turns out right after Cam and I finalized the divorce, he filed a marriage registration with Amy the next day. I only found out recently when I got suspicious from your endless delusional messages and decided to look into it. No, that can't be. Oh, that can't be true. Oh, but it is. You see, Cam and I kept the divorce relatively quiet. We told our families ourselves. It was amicable, or so I thought. Just incompatibility and lifestyle differences. But behind that facade, he was having an affair with my own sister. This is insane. Trust me, when I found out, I nearly fell out of my chair. I had no idea. None. Not until your obsessive messages prompted me to do some digging. Then that means the woman Cam is married to now is Amy, my sister, your supposed daughter-in-law. She's the one who's been impersonating me at family events. I don't understand. No one told me. Clearly, Cam probably didn't want you to know the truth. After all, remember how you reacted when Sally, your daughter, was cheated on? Cam lost his mind, threw things, broke half the furniture. You think he really wanted to see you react the same way to him? Oh my God. He used the fact that Amy and I are twins to pull off a switch, and Amy, she played along, pretending to be me when meeting your side of the family. I'm guessing my parents were in on it too, especially since they've always favored her.
This is too much.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, now that the lie is exposed, I suggest you take it up with the actual people involved. I have no part in this anymore.
I see. Well, if that's the case, then I suppose you really aren't part of this family anymore. There's no reason for us to speak further. I'll be going now.
Oh, no. You don't get to walk away like that. You forgot something.
What?
A thank you. You should be thanking me.
For what?
If you hadn't kept pestering me like a lunatic, I never would have uncovered what Cam and Amy were hiding, so thank you. Because of you, I now have rock-solid evidence of their infidelity.
Wait, what are you saying?
I've already filed for compensation. I'm suing them both for emotional damages and breach of trust.
No, wait, you're what?
Oh, didn't you know? Cam's unemployed now. Apparently he made a massive blunder at work, got fired, blacklisted, so he's not exactly in a position to pay that settlement.
Unemployed?
And from what I've heard, he's hoping you'll help cover the damages. Isn't that sweet?
Wait, Raven, please, you don't understand. We already burned through our savings when we covered another settlement years ago. Amy hasn't been sending money like she promised. She's gone radio silent. We have no way to pay this.
That's not my problem. All I care about is receiving full compensation. I don't care where the money comes from.
You can't be serious. I said we don't have it. As your former mother-in-law, I am ordering you to...
There it is again. As your mother-in-law. Still clinging to that? You sound pitiful, honestly. It's just sad now.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I'm done. I have nothing more to say to you.
Raven, wait!
Goodbye. And with that, I'll be blocking you for good.
No, wait, please!
I found out what happened afterward through a friend who still lives near my ex-in-law's place. She's been keeping an eye on things from a distance ever since everything fell apart, and let's just say what she told me was more dramatic than I could have imagined. Apparently, not long after I sent that message to my former mother-in-law, the one where I told her exactly how much damage they had all caused, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She summoned both her son and his new wife, the woman he cheated on me with, over to her house. From the outside, it looked like she was trying to resolve things, maybe have a long overdue family discussion to talk through the consequences of their actions. But instead of a calm sit-down, it turned into absolute chaos. The moment they arrived, everything spiraled out of control. My friend said it was like watching a storm unfold indoors. First, the shouting started, so loud that people passing by on the street paused to listen. Then it escalated. The old dining table was flipped over with such force that the legs cracked, and chairs were hurled across the room like weapons. At one point, glass shattered. No one was sure whether it was a vase or a window, but it exploded with such violence that a few of the neighbors actually screamed. People started running out of their homes to see what was going on, and when the noise didn't stop, someone called the police. Yes, it got that bad. Police officers actually had to show up and break up the fight. Can you imagine? The same woman who once cared so deeply about appearances, who judged everyone around her for the smallest of things, had created such a scandal that the whole neighborhood was talking about it. Eventually, after all that chaos, my ex-mother-in-law told them point blank that she was done. She wasn't going to pay their legal fees, she wasn't going to step in and handle things, and she sure as hell wasn't going to help them clean up the mess they had made. In her own words, she said they were on their own and that she was cutting ties. Just like that, she disowned them both and walked away. But it didn't stop there. See, the thing that really broke her wasn't just the betrayal, it was the public shame. My ex-husband wasn't her only child to go through this kind of scandal. His older sister had also ended her marriage due to an affair. And now, with her son doing the same thing, the entire neighborhood started whispering about how both of her children had brought disgrace to the family. It was all over the block, how the siblings had followed the same destructive path, ruining marriages, hurting innocent people, and dragging their family name through the mud. She couldn't take the humiliation, not after spending her entire life building up an image of the perfect family. So a few weeks later, she packed up and quietly moved away. She didn't say goodbye to anyone, she just disappeared, leaving behind a house full of memories and a reputation in ruins. My friend said she saw the moving truck early in the morning, like she was trying to escape before anyone could see her go. And then, of course, there was the fallout from my ex-husband and the woman he left me for. With no support from his mother and the mounting legal pressure from the compensation claim I filed, they both fell headfirst into financial disaster. My ex-husband still had outstanding debts from our divorce, and now he had to cover this on top of everything else. Loans started piling up, payments were missed, their once cozy little life started to crack at the seams. The new wife, who thought she'd won by taking my place, was now stuck in a nightmare of her own making. She was no longer the center of attention, no longer the one being praised. Instead, she was just another woman trapped in a relationship built on lies and debt. And I'll be honest, when I heard all this, I felt something inside me shift. It wasn't joy, it wasn't even satisfaction, it was clarity. For so long, I'd been walking around with this heavy fog in my chest, wondering if I was the fool, if I'd overreacted. I should have handled things differently. But when I heard how everything had fallen apart for them, how the truth had finally caught up, it was like that fog started to lift. I didn't want revenge. I never needed them to suffer the way I did. But knowing that consequences finally caught up with them, that they had to face the reality of what they'd done, gave me peace. Not the kind you scream about, the quiet kind. The kind that lets you breathe a little deeper at night. And maybe that sounds cold. Maybe it does. But I think anyone who's ever been betrayed, who's ever had their world ripped apart by people they trusted, will understand. I also think it was important for my ex-husband to hit rock bottom. He needed to realize that you can't just walk through life taking what you want, hurting who you want, and expecting someone else to clean up your mess. And she, the woman who helped him destroy everything, I hope she finally understands that taking something that doesn't belong to you doesn't guarantee happiness. Sometimes it curses you instead. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.